Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's been a while that I've been on this channel due to the fact that the Premier League season has ended and there's no much news because of the Euros and the Copa America that is ongoing presently. So the transfers this summer has been slow, so probably the clubs are watching out for the players who are trying their trade in Euros and Copa America to be able to know the kind of players that they will sign into their team to be able to improve their squad. Likewise, as Arsenal, they've not really been any sign of marquee signing yet. And the reason why I don't want to talk about the summer transfer is because a lot of rumors have been going here and there. So I'm expecting a concrete signing, an elite signing or top signing that Arsenal sign, the players that Arsenal will sign, in order for me to be able to talk about it and also to analyze how the players will fit into the Arsenal squad or how they will improve the team for next season. And so that's why I'm not talking about it. And now this channel is to talk about the players that Arsenal need to do away with, the players that Arsenal do not need in their squad this coming season. And so number one in my list is Educator. Educator for me has not really lived up to expectation, in as much as he did very well 2 seasons ago, covering up for Gabriel Jesus. Anytime he come off, he always find a way to score. But this past season, he has not been there. Despite the chances that is given to him, he didn't live up to expectation. For me, he's an average player. He's not the player that Arsenal can depend on. Just like last season when they needed for a striker to be able to score or ensure that those chances created ended into the back of the net, he was not being able to do so. So for me, Educator, in as much as he's a good player, but he's not the kind of player that Arsenal need. Arsenal is a big club. They need the kind of players that even if the starting 11 are not doing well, the players on the bench can come in and then change the dynamics of the team. But last season, I really did not see any player that can come in except Gabriel Jesus for me, that can come in from the bench straight into the midfield, to change the dynamics of the team, including Martinelli. Sometimes when he's been on the bench, whenever he comes in, he changes the dynamics of the team. Likewise, Gabriel Jesus. But Educator for me is not that kind of player that can do so. So to me, I think Arsenal need to do away with him, ensure they cash in on Educator. If there's any club that comes in for him, they should cash it in instantly and then bring in a very quality player, that a player that is an upgrade to Educator. And the next on my list is with Nelson. With Nelson is not really the player for me. He's not. Anytime he come in as a cover for Saka, he has not really been up to par. There are times that they rested some key players for the Carabao Cup, but still when they are playing, they are not being it's not convincing. So to me, Luis Nelson need to move on. As far as I'm concerned, I need to move on. These are average players for me, and Arsenal do not need average players in their squad. They are fighting for the trophies. They are fighting for the major trophies like the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Champions League. They need to go for players that they can even count on. If they are not on the field, they come in from the bench into the field to replace some players who are already tired of the field of play. They need those kind of players that are coming and change the dynamics of the team. Luis Nelson is also not one of the players that can do so for me. So I think they should move on. Arsenal need to cash in on these kind of players. They should be able to get money from these players. And then the next person on my list, definitely Thomas Partey is leaving. He's 31 years of age. And last season for me is a wake-up call for Arsenal to know that these are injury-prone players. They don't know what next season will be of Thomas Partey. If they leave him, what it is, he goes all a season injured, and then there's nobody to cover up for what's his name, Jorginho, except Declan Rice. So for me, I think Thomas Partey should go. They should cash in on him and then bring in an upgrade player in place of Thomas Partey. And the next for me is Tierney. Tierney, yes, is a very good player. When he was in Arsenal, he was one of the players that was tipped to be the captain, for Arsenal. One of the players to be the captain for Arsenal, but he's been injury prone player. He's been a player that he cannot be fit for the whole season. Even when he was on loan to Real Sociedad, he was still kind of injured. He still went for like few weeks or months injured, and that was why even Real Sociedad looked at it and said, no, this is not the player that they want in their team. There's no team or club all over the world, or okay, let me say the major leagues, that will want an injury-prone player that it cannot guarantee, staying fit for like 5 to 6 months. So these are the kind of players that for me is a good coach, a good player either, and also is a kind of player probably does not fit into Mikel Arteta's style of play. The system Mikel Arteta is utilizing, that inverted defender, left hand side defender. Tierney cannot offer such. So Tierney is not that kind of player Arteta wants. He's not a kind of player that he needs. Now, he's a fantastic player. He's a very good player. He's a player that will definitely give 100% on the field of play, but he's definitely not the kind of player that Arsenal need. And being injury prone again, for me, you should move on. Cash him on him. I expect Arsenal to cash big on these players. They should not give players a 20 million pounds or 25 million pounds on the player. They need to put like 40 million, 50 million, 60 million pounds on this kind of player. They should cash in. They should not sell cheap. These are players that they are still at their prime, those that are still working to get into that top. They are still like with Nelson, Educator, they are still kind of improving. They are still improving. So I think they should be able to cash in on this player, cash in and cash in well. So these are one of the players that I think Arsenal should go away with. It's definitely need to move on. And then the next person is Gabriel Jesus. For me, I think Gabriel Jesus should stay. He should stay because he brings in something different to the Arsenal team. As not as he's not scoring goals, but I expect Arteta to maybe use him as a striker, or as he can play either wings, either left hand side or the right hand side of the wings. So whatever way Arteta wants to use him, I think he's a player that is needed in this Arsenal squad. He can bring in something different into the Arsenal squad. Likewise, Fabio Vieira has not lived up to a lot of Arsenal fans' expectations, including mine. When he came in, we were like, okay, yes, this is a player that will be able to play that number 10 role or even that number 8 role in midfield, but he hasn't really up to par. And as of the time that he started to pick up gel, he got injured. So for me, I think Arteta should give him one more season, probably this coming season. And if he did not live up to expectation, then definitely should cash in on him. Arteta should give him a chance. Likewise, Emile Smith Rowe for me, I feel like he's the kind of player that fits into the Arsenal system. He has that quality in him. He's somebody that he's more like a Martin Odegaard kind of a player. He brings something different with what Martin Odegaard can offer Arsenal. So I think Emile Smith Rowe should be able to still remain at Arsenal. He can also play from that left wing where Martinelli played on like a trusser. But last season where Mikel Arteta utilized him, he played, and remember he played the ball through with Nelson, where a defender had kicked the ball into his own net. So I feel like Smith Rowe is that kind of player that should remain at Arsenal. Probably Arteta should give him one more season, give him a chance, for one more season and see how it can be utilized into his system. And if he now feels that okay, he has tried all he could but it cannot fit into his system, then maybe Arteta needs to sell him out and cash in. As much as a player that I really like him too because of his work ethic, and he's a very hardworking person, a hardworking player. He gives his all on the field of play, but if he's the kind of player that Arteta did not want or does not fit into his system, then probably he should cash in next season. I mean 2 seasons, maybe give him a chance this season and see how it goes. Then if it now feels like that's Arteta, that he is not the kind of player that can fit into the system, then in 2 seasons time he can now sell him off. But give him a chance for next season and see how it goes. And the player for me that I feel like needs to leave the club is definitely Sambi Lokonga. Sambi Lokonga, yes, he played very well in Nottingham Forest, but you can't compare Nottingham Forest to Arsenal. Their style of football are different. The way Nottingham Forest plays is different from the way Arsenal plays, and I'm not sure if Sambi Lokonga is that kind of player that Arsenal needs. These are average players. For me, the players that I've mentioned so far, they are all average players. And for me, I feel like he should also leave. He should leave. He should leave so that Arsenal can get the players that will be able to ensure that they win trophies. Do away with players that are fridge, that cannot offer anything to the Arsenal score, and Arsenal then go for players that they know will offer a lot more to the team. So for me, Sambi Lokonga needs to go. Likewise, Tavares too, when he came in, there was a lot of expectation from something I think just don't work out for Arsenal. He actually could not fit into the Arsenal team. And so if you are not fit in the Arsenal team, so what's now the point of being in the team? So the best thing is for him to leave Arsenal and look for other clubs where he can play game week in, week out, and Arsenal then move on from there, sell him off, get new players in. So these are players that Arsenal needs to do away with. They need to sell a lot of players this summer. Is necessary. They need to sell a lot of players this summer. So it now depends on how you then go about it. And the next person that should Arsenal sell or Mikel Arteta sell or not is Alexander Zinchenko. For me, Alexander Zinchenko needs to remain in Arsenal. He is a quality player. He's an inverted left back. He's a player that can offer a lot. Yes, last season he was injured in most parts of the season. So for me, remember he did not have a pre-season with Arsenal. So that alone tampered his fitness ratio in the season or last season. So for me, Alexander Zinchenko is still important player. Him and Gabriel Jesus are still very important in this Arsenal team. They are still important in this Arsenal title push, for the following season and beyond. So these are players that needs to still remain. Alexander Zinchenko needs to still remain in Arsenal. He's a player that can offer a lot. In as much as defensively last season there was question mark, but I think this following season is going to work on it. He will definitely improve it. There's still age on his side, so he will surely improve. He's a player that is emotional most times, and he's a player that also learned from his mistakes. So I feel like he will improve, and he's also a player that Arsenal needs in their squad. He brings something different to whatever other players in the Arsenal squad, in as much as Tomiyasu to play that role, but not as much as Alexander Zinchenko could, or even Kiwo too, the same thing, but not as much as Zinchenko. Kiwo is a left center midfielder, and Tomiyasu is a right back, but can also be playing that left hand side. But compared to Alexander Zinchenko, who is left-footed player, so for me, I feel like he's still needed in this Arsenal squad. He's a player that can still push Arsenal into winning the trophies next season. So these are the players that I feel like Arteta needs to do away with, and those that he needs to keep. A lot of them that needs to go, and then just like only 3 or 4 players that I mentioned that I feel like they still have a part to play in the Arsenal squad, and the rest then they should be able to go cash in on these players and bring in quality players that will improve the squad, push the starting 11 teams, you know, push them for their money, and should make them know that there are people on the bench that can easily take their place. You understand? So that's what I feel like Arsenal need to go for. Go for those quality players that are as good as the starting 11. Even without the starting 11, those on the bench can still come in and deliver the goods just like Man City do. So I feel like that's what Arsenal need to do, and then be able to have a chance of bringing the trophy next season. And so this is all I have to say. Please ensure that you like this video, comment your opinion of the kind of player that you expect Arsenal to sell and those that you want them Arsenal to keep, and also please subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much. See you later.